Microsoft released Visual Studio Code 1.129 on July 15–16, 2026, featuring an experimental modern UI that transforms the editor's visual appearance by displaying sidebars and bottom panels as distinct floating cards with rounded corners and improved spacing. The update introduces a dedicated agent host architecture that runs AI model sessions in a separate background process, preventing system crashes from affecting the main editor. Users can now execute terminal commands directly within chat by prefixing commands with an exclamation mark, eliminating the need to switch between interfaces. The redesigned Agents window receives a new docked editor panel that allows developers to review agent-generated files and code differences side by side with conversation history. The architecture supports multiple coding frameworks including GitHub Copilot, Claude, and Codex through a unified agent host protocol. A quick patch update, 1.129.1, followed to address regressions and stabilize the experimental features. Amazon-owned Xerox announced a voluntary software recall on July 17, 2026, affecting its entire fleet of 105 purpose-built robotaxis following a June 20 incident in Las Vegas, where an unoccupied vehicle approached an active fire scene obscured by heavy smoke without appropriate detection or response. The vehicle entered the smoke-filled emergency area, applied hard braking while attempting to steer away, and required remote operator intervention to reverse out of the scene before first responders could secure the area with traffic cones. Xerox deployed an over-the-air software update to all 105 vehicles that enhances the existing emergency scene detection capabilities by adding smoke recognition and response protocols for situations with reduced visibility. The update improves the vehicle's ability to identify and respond appropriately to active emergency scenes, addressing critical safety gaps revealed by the incident. This recall comes as federal regulators increase scrutiny of autonomous vehicle interactions with emergency situations and first responders. The incident demonstrates the ongoing need for refinement in how self-driving systems handle unpredictable environmental conditions during critical infrastructure operations. Anthropic and Meta platforms entered early-stage negotiations on July 17, 2026, for a potential computing power lease agreement valued at approximately $10 billion over 2 years. According to reports from the New York Times and CNBC, Meta is positioning the deal as part of its broader strategy to establish a commercial cloud computing business and generate revenue from its substantial AI infrastructure investments, with the company planning capital expenditures of $125 billion to $145 billion in 2026. The proposed agreement would require Anthropic to make monthly payments for access to Meta's computing capacity, representing roughly $417 million monthly, and allowing both parties to terminate the contract early if needed. This arrangement would enable Anthropic to diversify its infrastructure supply chain across 3 major providers: CISA Euro, AWS, SpaceX, and Meta Euro, while reducing concentration risk on any single platform. The deal reflects the intense demand among AI companies for computing resources, and Meta's increasing focus on monetizing its massive GPU fleet, which includes more than 1.3 million high-end graphics processors. Anthropic's pursuit of this arrangement complements its existing $45 billion commitment to SpaceX's Colossus One data center, demonstrating the critical importance of secure compute access for frontier AI model development. Samsung released a new firmware update for the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro on July 18, 2026, carrying build version R630XXU0AZG2 and weighing approximately 7 to 8 megabytes, focused on enhancing stability and reliability rather than introducing new features. The update began rolling out in South Korea, with planned expansion to major markets including the United States, India, and European regions, though the changelog contains minimal detail beyond mentioning stabilization code integration. The relatively small file size belies significant improvements targeting Bluetooth connectivity, media playback performance, call quality during voice communications, and overall everyday reliability in real-world usage scenarios. Samsung continues providing software updates for the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro, despite introducing the successor Galaxy Buds 4 Pro earlier in 2026, demonstrating commitment to the previous generation's user experience. The update installation process requires users to ensure earbuds maintain full battery charge and maintain stable connection to the Galaxy Wearable app on their paired smartphone. This maintenance release exemplifies Samsung's ongoing support cycle for premium wearables, keeping older models competitive through regular firmware iterations. Uber Technologies announced on July 16, 2026, a landmark acquisition agreement with Germany's delivery hero in an all-cash transaction valued at approximately $14.8 billion, marking Uber's largest acquisition to date and representing a major shift in consolidation within the global food delivery sector. The agreement provides not 41.50 per share cash consideration to Delivery Hero shareholders, giving Uber control over Delivery Hero's operations in 50 markets across Europe, Asia, Latin America, the Middle East, and Africa, while significantly expanding Uber Eats' geographic footprint and operational density. As part of the broader transaction structure, Delivery Hero agreed to sell its businesses in 14 markets, where Uber Eats already operates, to New York-based investment firm SSW Partners for $1.6 billion, streamlining overlapping operations and reducing antitrust concerns. Uber's transaction requires 50% minimum acceptance threshold plus one share from Delivery Hero shareholders, with major shareholders like Prosus committing their approximately 17% stake to tender, likely pushing Uber's total economic interest to around 53% upon completion. The deal capitalizes on classic delivery economics principles, where expanded market coverage, denser networks, increased order volume, and improved unit economics create competitive advantages against DoorDash and Prosus-owned Just Eat. Subject to regulatory approvals across multiple jurisdictions, the acquisition represents Uber's strategic pivot toward delivery profitability through operational consolidation and market density optimization. Apple Inc. briefly surpassed NVIDIA Corp. as the world's most valuable publicly traded company on July 17, 2026, when the iPhone maker's market capitalization reached approximately $4.88 trillion, while NVIDIA's valuation slipped to $4.86 trillion, following a 3.5% single-session decline that eliminated roughly $173 billion in market value. This represents the first time Apple has held the coveted top position since April 2025, ending NVIDIA's reign as the most valuable company a status the chipmaker has maintained since June 2025, when it surpassed Microsoft during the peak of AI infrastructure enthusiasm. The reversal in market leadership reflects a significant shift in investor sentiment, as Wall Street reassesses the pace and sustainability of artificial intelligence infrastructure spending, and beginning to redirect capital from AI semiconductor specialists toward consumer-facing companies implementing AI technologies. NVIDIA's stock has nonetheless achieved extraordinary growth, rising over 200% since January 2023, from a split-adjusted $14.86 to $205 by mid-July, despite recent weakness, demonstrating the volatility characterizing AI-related equities. Apple's outperformance in 2026, up approximately 23% year-to-date, derives from investor rewards for the company's AI strategy and capital-efficient spending model, requiring less direct infrastructure investment than traditional data center build-out. The Philadelphia SE Semiconductor Index has declined nearly 19% from its all-time highs, as institutional investors weigh continued AI infrastructure spending against valuation concerns and competitive pressures from international competitors. Linus Torvalds released Linux kernel 7.2-RC3 on July 12, 2026. Representing the third and stabilizing release candidate as development progresses toward the stable 7.2 kernel, scheduled for August 2026. With Torvalds characterizing the release as displaying a new normal development pace. The update adds Ultra RISC-V support to the default kernel configuration, expanding the kernel's native support for RISC-V architecture, while maintaining the standard mix of driver updates, networking improvements, and file system stability enhancements expected during the release candidate phase. A critical security fix addresses an out-of-bounds read vulnerability in Realtek RTL8723BS Wi-Fi adapters, preventing potential information disclosure or system crashes on systems using this popular embedded wireless component. Driver updates comprise approximately half of the changes across this release cycle, spanning GPU drivers, networking subsystems, and a diverse array of miscellaneous hardware drivers, including an unexpected maintenance update for Sega Dreamcast hardware from 1998, demonstrating the kernel community's commitment to supporting legacy platforms. The release cycle is proceeding at a healthy pace despite summer vacation schedules affecting developer availability, with the changelog noting only slightly elevated commit rates compared to historical patterns balanced by summer downtime. Developer Nick de Saulniers formally returned to LLVM Linux kernel build tooling development, bringing compiler infrastructure improvements alongside the driver and architecture enhancements, moving toward the August stable release. The Trump administration has escalated its control over frontier artificial intelligence model distribution as of July 17, 2026, shifting decision-making authority for accessing Anthropic's Mythos cybersecurity model and OpenAI's GPT 5.6 release from the technology companies themselves to the federal government through the Gold Eagle program and associated frameworks. Anthropic's Project Glasswing and OpenAI's comparable Daybreak partnership program, which previously allowed the companies to select trusted partners for access to advanced AI capabilities, now require explicit government approval for all participant additions and changes. This represents a significant expansion of government oversight beyond the Trump administration's June 2 executive order, establishing voluntary frameworks for pre-release model testing, as the administration now actively restricts access to already released frontier models based on national security assessments. The administration had previously blocked access to Claude Mythos 5 and Fable 5 in June 2026, citing national security concerns, reinstating access only after weeks of intense negotiations with Anthropic, demonstrating government willingness to use export control authority to restrict advanced AI capabilities. The White House maintains that companies retain ultimate release decisions, and that the government engagement remains voluntary, though the practical restrictions on model access demonstrate regulatory leverage over the most advanced AI KDI systems. Industry analysts have expressed concern that restrictive AI policies may disadvantage American development relative to international competitors like Chinese startup Moonshot AI, whose Kimi K3 model reportedly caught up to U.S. frontier performance and outperformed in at least one independent benchmark. Thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more content and stay updated with the latest technology news.